Hey everybody, this is Spencer, kolb49. Um, I don't know how short this is going to be, but the stuff on medical stuff has gotten me to think really hard. Um, does one's actions fit and be responsible for another person's actions? I came up with that question on the medical part, and I keep coming up with yes, I am responsible for someone else. I'm not just responsible to myself. There is other people that live around me, and I am responsible for their safety just not as well as my own. That doesn't just take the workplace or the public, but it also takes the home as well. Let me give you an example. I'm going to give some personal stuff out here. Is that my family is responsible for my health. When I was 5 years old, I accidentally caught myself on fire. Had the supervision been correctly there, not to be blaming my mother intentionally on it, even though she was in making the bed, she was doing somewhat of her own responsibilities of keeping the home nice and safe around her children. She just, since they were smokers, they didn't think a 5-year-old even knew what fire was. I was imitating my dad, on a Zippo lighter. I seen him refilling it one day. I decided to imitate that. And then I accidentally tried it, the flint and the sparks, and then all of a sudden all the lighter fluid caught me on fire. I almost lost my life. I had third-degree burns all over, mostly at that time at 5 years old, 80% of my body. Today it's only like maybe 20, maybe 10%, maybe even smaller than that. It's not very much. But they had to skin graft me. I'm pretty sure the medical bills were really off the charts for my dad because they had no insurance for such things. Then I can jump ahead, when I was a security guard, and I was directing traffic around the organization, not to mention the name, but the backhoe operator at the time did not look behind them before they lowered the hopper or the bucket, and because of their negligence, caused me more medical strife to where eventually in the future I'd have to have a hip replacement. Had some mental problems because of these instances. There was another instance where I was a passenger and the driver. And the driver, hit a tree 80 miles an hour. How I survived that, I have not a clue. But someone was watching out for me. But there's medical complications of these things. You can tell from the where my nose hit the thing, I got some nose issues. But I don't blame these people. I forgive them. But I don't forget the times that these things happen. I can go on and on to where what someone else neglected to do caused me medically strife. I can go into the war issues to where I was trained on biological, chemical, on how to survive such things, on how to look and see those things. Today we hear a lot of talk about chemtrails and what they're unloading on us through the air. And then, you tie into the heart. And, we talk about all these tinfoil hat people because of mind-reading techniques that the people do with electronics. Am I a frog in boiling water? Because I feel as if it's getting warm and starting to boil, and I don't want to be cooked to death. I can use a philosophy and an analogy of that form and fashion. But I am, you are, and everyone, including the government, is responsible for the general welfare of our nation. And that goes into the topic of that if you know you're having a cold, when you cough, you cover your mouth so you don't spread all those germs everywhere, and you get your antibacterial things, you wipe your hands and stuff. But then also that can make you sick too. Too much of one thing is sickness. Moderation is a little bit different. Not too many people get sick within moderation. But if we're not vigilant and looking out for the next guy and knowing that guy can make me sick just as much as I can make him sick, because we are human biological organisms in itself, I mean, we're sanitary, hygiene. You don't have to be super hygiene. I mean, let's not go overboard here. I'm talking about, when I was working at a company as a cashier, a lady came through the line, man, stunk to high heaven. And it was of urine. She just didn't bathe, I mean, diapers or whatever. And, all the other people came around spraying everything, blah, blah, blah. They're going to make me sick. They're going to make me sick. Yes, but the way you went about it was a little bit overboard. Nonchalantly go through there, whatever. There's not that many people going around smelling like that. It's a very rare event, but it still happens. Now, is that person supposed to go to medical jail? I say not. That's where I see the world coming to, is that if you don't take care of your business, you're going to be put in jail because of it. And you got to educate people. That's where I am with Advocacy Recovery. I belong to NAMI, the National Alliance for Mentally Ill People, where I'm trying to change and take that illness off and focus on health. Health is the key issue here. That lack of health makes one sick or ill. And if you're not, see, I don't consider myself totally here. I see myself way out there in a different space, because I don't feel like I'm down to earth. Because being down to earth would be in agreement with everyone else that's around you. I don't. I have an opinion to myself, and I share that opinion. I'm not afraid to speak up. I used to be very, very scared of speaking up, but now I have a voice. I found my voice. Other people are responsible for their actions toward you or their inactions. In my case, it's mostly generally inactions of others that caused me my medical demise. Started at 5 years old, and it went on even within other scopes, and I can get into more detail, but I won't go there. I have a story published in my own story, What About Bob, the real story, with Bill Murray making that movie, What About Bob, on his psychological disorder. And his mostly was OCD, or, not wanting to touch doorknobs or things, and then there's diseases out there that are communicable, like measles and mumps and other things, and then you got the flu, you cough, we can make others sick by our actions or inactions of doing nothing, and I don't know where everyone's getting off to thinking that it's not our responsibility to take care of others, regardless if they're here legally or not. I mean, they still can bring the sickness, even if it's done illegally. We still have a legal obligation to take care of it before it gets to our backyard, our front doorstep, and God forbid, in our walls, our clothes. Don't let those bed bugs bite. Because if those bed bugs bite, we got the plague all over again. And please be responsible. And you are responsible for your actions, regardless if you do it in the privacy of your own home, because when you leave that door out into the public, you are then therefore spreading that which you don't think is anyone else's responsibility but yours, but it is your responsibility. And I don't think Obamacare should pass. I think it should be repealed. The payment, I'm coming a hard time on this. I'm really perplexed, because I think we already have a system in place that will take care of this. It's just a matter of letting them opt in instead of all this opt out. Opt in on it and work the bugs out within what's already here. Don't scratch what's working and then bring something up that will never work. you know, the systems here, you know, work the bugs out, and let's get on with mental health. And when I say mental health, that goes into the physical health. Physical health and mental health is the body. The mind of the person is just as important as the rest of it, but they're all interconnected. Without the mind, the body wouldn't survive. So mental health, that you are responsible for your actions towards others. And you can't just cop out and say, well, I didn't know. Uh, I don't know, but that's not an excuse. I try to educate myself, and in the education that I have found, I am responsible for what I do in accordance to others. And I don't do it exactly the way I'd like to. I need help, but then again, I have to ask for it. I just can't think I need help, and then all of a sudden help's going to appear. I have to call somebody to get that help. I'd love to see your comments. Please write down below or something, but please let me know. Thank you for listening and taking your time to hear my video. But again, if you disagree with me, please leave a comment telling me why. Thank you.